Client onboarding used to be the most tedious part of my business. Collecting information, creating folders, setting up communication channels. It was taking me hours for each new client. Now, it happens automatically while I sleep. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built an AI-powered, fully automated onboarding system that creates a seamless experience for my client and saves me countless of hours each and every week. If you're tired of manually onboarding clients and want to deliver a premium experience without the premium effort, this video is for you. Hey everyone, Simeon here, founder of WellGrow. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I'm all about using AI systems, helping businesses scale without increasing headcount. In my last video, I showed you how I automated my proposal generation process, and today we're taking it a step further as I'm going to show you how I automated the entire client onboarding experience. Think about it. A new client signs up all without you lifting a finger. They receive a personalized welcome email, fill out an onboarding form, get all their files organized in a Google Drive forward, join a dedicated Slack channel, and receive regular updates on their project, all while you can focus on actually delivering the work and wowing them. So let me walk you through exactly how I built this system and how you can replicate it for your business. Before I show you the solution, let's talk about why manual onboarding is such a pain. When a new client signed up, I used to do the following: send them a welcome email manually, create a custom onboarding form, wait for them to fill it out, manually create folders in Google Drive, upload all of their materials, then create a brand new Slack channel, invite them to the Slack channel, send a follow-up email about next steps, and then book in an onboarding call. And this was easily taking me 3 to 5 hours per client and about a week just to collect all of the information that I needed to start the project and the fulfillment. And if I had multiple clients sign up in the same week, I was drowning in tedious work and I wasn't focusing on strategy, delivery, and growing my business. And the worst part wasn't that, it was the inconsistency. Some clients would get onboarded quickly and others would have to wait days depending on my schedule and how quickly I got around things and submitting assets. Some would get all the information they needed and others would miss critical details. And I knew there had to be an easier and better way to create a consistent premium experience for every client without spending hours on repetitive tasks. So what is the solution? An end-to-end automated onboarding system that works like this. Client signs your proposal and pays the invoice. They automatically receive a personalized welcome email with next steps. The email includes a link to a comprehensive onboarding form that collects all the details and assets you might need. And when they submit the form, the system automatically does the following: creates a dedicated client folder in Google Drive, gives them access to the email they've already provided, organize all of their uploaded materials in subfolders and links to them, and creates a private Slack communication channel so you can stay in touch and keep client in the loop in terms of project updates. It also sends them login details and access instructions to all of your backend materials, videos, portals, and also notifies your team that the new client is now ready to be onboarded. And the beauty of this system is that it happens 24/7, whether you're sleeping, working, or on a vacation. And it creates a consistent professional experience for every single client. So if you're in a service-based business of any sort, this will be a game changer. So let me show you how it all works on the backend. Here's what you need to build this automated onboarding system. First, you need a CRM platform like Go High Level, or I'm personally using the white label version of it. There's going to be a link below. If you don't have it, you can get a 30-day trial and get started. This will be the central hub that triggers the automation. Second, you need the make.com to create the complex automation workflows. And this is the secret sauce that connects all the different tools together. Third, you need a premium Google Drive for file storage and organization. And fourth, you need Slack for client communication. And last but not least, you need email automation tools, which can be part of your CRM, as Go High Level already has them in there. Now let's break down how to implement each piece of this system. So let's look at the back end of the system that we're going to be using to onboard our clients. We have make.com. We would need to have a Google Drive folder where we would create a place where we store all the assets that our clients will be uploading. That could be brand assets, PDFs, files, information, images, videos, everything that you're going to be sharing with your client depending on the project scope. You would need also Go High Level account or any white label version of it. You would need to have Trello. If you want to set up the system the way we have it, you might skip that part, but Trello essentially organizes your project in timelines and it can be assigned to the different members of your team, as well as timelines that can trigger actions and send information to the clients as the project progresses. Then we would need to have a Slack Slack for the client communication. You could set up a Slack channel, and that's all you're gonna need. We would need a client onboarding form, and we would need a few automations that actually trigger the system. So as soon as the survey is filled out, we would be adding a tag, and in our case, that's onboarding form survey filled out. So as you can see, the form that they submit is the form here. The moment they fill it out, they apply the tag, onboarding forms submitted. Then we pass over a webhook, and within that webhook, we send contact ID, full name, email, and phone number. And if we come over here, you're gonna see that that's the exact webhook we're passing over, and we get that form data as JSON. Okay, we parse it and organize it and store it as a value. And then we find the contact, because from the previous step, we have the contact ID, because as you can see here, we pass over the contact ID. Okay, we find that client within our account, then we create a folder, and what happens is we go over to my drive, client folders, and then we create a new folder with the company name and full name of the user that filled out our form, and it's gonna look something like that: Digital Wellness Partners, and you can see James Smith, Impactful Look, Jason Derulo. These are obviously not real clients, protecting it just for legal reasons. And you share the folder with the user and their email, so they're gonna have access to the folder you've created right away. Then we set up a Google Doc, and in that Google Doc, we're gonna have all of their assets that they have submitted over in the onboarding form. So as you can see, we have assets, scripts, templates, brand materials, and we have links that are listing all the assets and links provided. So messaging and script, they upload the document, and we have direct link to that. In here, we have sales materials and brand assets. If they have any, we have access to that here. And if they have a lead list that we're running a campaign to, they're going to upload that there. And we have the new document location that we again give them access to later on in both the Slack channel and the confirmation email. Then we wait for 8 seconds. Actually, it's 5 seconds just to make sure, because these modules sometimes take a few seconds to load, and we want to make sure that we don't cause error within make.com. Then we create a Trello card, and I'm going to show you the Trello in a second. So we have client fulfillment system, and as an example here, it creates a card that has information about the business, link to their folder, link to their assets, and all of the relevant information. And now we can move and approve all the assets that the client submitted, and now we can move them to the other stages and add relevant team members to be assigned to that client. And we send them notification both in Slack and email, just to make sure we keep them in the loop with whatever is happening in terms of completing their project. So this is how the Trello portion looks here. We create a board, we select which board we have, we find the list, we create a label, and as you can see, the label here for us is green, just so we can easily distinguish the new clients from existing clients. Okay, and then we have the company name, first name, last name, submitted on onboarding form, and then within the description we have links to all the assets that we might need. And then we create a channel in Slack. So the way it's gonna look is first name and last name. We gotta make sure that we use the underscore, as Slack has a very specific way of labeling channel names. So if you're using a dash or a space, you're not gonna be able to create a channel. You're gonna get an error. Then we have the private channel. So we find the private channel, and we select a topic for that channel, and then we create a message that goes out in there, and that is for internal use. This is for notifying our own team, and it's a JSON format. Slack particularly loves blocks. This is how they love to assign folders, but essentially this notifies our team that a new client has just been onboarded, and gives them access to all of the information in there as well, with the link to the Trello, with the link to the Google Drive, with the link to the assets they've uploaded. And it just makes it super easy for us to be able to manage that client in the future. And here we have the contact ID, and we update it again by adding a relevant tag. So just a second, we add the tag welcome onboarding started. So now they're going to be part of a sequence where they receive the rest of the assets, video materials, content, and everything else that we need to send them. So this is the onboarding backend sequence. I'm going to show you how it looks in practice. So if we come to the onboarding form, and I'll fill out my information here just so you can see how it looks. Phone, website URL. Okay, next, describe offer. I'm just gonna leave these blank. Obviously, our clients are gonna have all of that information structured and are gonna provide us the relevant information we're gonna need to be able to set up the fulfillment. Just gonna leave these blank for now, as I just want to show you how the automation works. Upload a lead list. Let me just upload a list here. Upload any scripts if you have. And let's see, I have a script here, and any brand materials or assets. Let me see what I I can upload here, I can upload the logo, and I can move over to the last part. We have a CRM. It's a bit on the lengthier side, but since we have a done with you program, we need to have a lot of information to be able to work with the client. So that's why we have an extensive form, just to make sure we extract all the needed information and we can get started as soon as possible to deliver results quickly. So as soon as our clients submit that form, what's going to happen on the back end is that our make.com scenario is going to run automatically, and it's going to generate a folder. So if we come over to the client folder, you can see now we have Wellgrow, Simeon, Krastev. If I come in here, there's going to be a little document populated. It took a little second. As you can see, it just got generated. So if I open it up, you're going to see that I have access to all of the assets. So if I pull up the messaging scripts, let me open that up in another tab. You can see I have access to the information that I need. And if I come in here and I take a look at the sales materials, let's see, I have the logo. So all of the information I already have in here. Okay. And then within Trello, there was a new card created. As you can see, Wellgrow, Simeon Krastev submitted an onboarding form, so that worked as well. And then a welcome email fires out as soon as the contact tag is applied. Welcome onboarding started, and they received their first email from us, which welcomed them to our team. We have again information about their folder, the Slack channel that they've been invited to, access to the onboarding materials and videos, as well as link to book an onboarding call with our team, how we can support them, and the rest of the information that's needed. So this is how you set up an onboarding process from A to Z. It's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of energy. And by the way, if you don't want to deal with the technical setup of something like that, then you see the value of it, make sure you click the link below, book a call. We're going to be able to install that for you in your business to streamline some of your operations and onboarding. Here's the step-by-step implementation. Step number 1 is setting up your onboarding form. The first step is to create a comprehensive onboarding survey that collects all the information that you need from your clients. Mine is quite comprehensive, but you can add a fewer questions depending on your business model. In Go High Level, you have to go either to the form section or the survey section and just select create a new form. And here's some important details that you could include in yours. You could add basic information such as contact details, company info, project goals and expectations, brand assets such as logo, color schemes, fonts, access to existing accounts they want you to manage, competitor information if that's relevant to your business model and service you're providing, target audience details if you're providing some sort of business service or marketing offer or sales offer, you would need that, as well as communication preferences with the client. Do they want frequent communication, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? The key here is to make this form thorough enough that you won't need to ask for additional information later, as that later down the line, but at the same time not so overwhelming that the clients abandon it midway through. I've also added conditional logic so that the clients only see the questions that are relevant to the services they've purchased. This keeps the form focused, user-friendly, and yet thorough enough for me to get all the details I need. And once your form is ready, you just simply save it, grab the link, and you include that in all of your email automations and links you're going to be sending to your clients that they need to fill out. Next, we need to set up an automated email sequence that will guide our clients through the onboarding process. In your CRM, just create a new email template for your welcome email, and it gets triggered as soon as somebody pays and becomes a new client. And here's what you could include in the welcome email: a warm, personalized welcome. You could do a welcome video as well. Clear next steps, specifically filling out that onboarding form, as it's going to trigger the rest of the automations that we have on the back end. A timeline of what to expect, your contact information for any questions, and I also personally set up a follow-up email that automatically sends if they haven't completed the onboarding form within the first 48 hours. This gentle reminder helps keep the process moving without you having to manually check in with each and every client. And the trigger for this email sequence will be the payment of the invoice, which will be set up automatically in Go High Level. Now, step number 3 is building the make.com automation scenario. Now, for the most powerful part of this system, it's the make.com automation, as it's the glue between all of the tools we're going to be using. So let me walk you through how I've set it up in my own scenario here. The trigger is a webhook from Go High Level that fires when a client fills out the onboarding form. This webhook contains all the client information that we need, and from there we can simply follow and do the rest of the scenario. We can create a new Google Drive folder with the client's name and company name as well. We can create subfolders for the different types of assets if you want to set it up that way. Could be brand materials, strategy documents, deliverables, core recordings. You can go as wild as you want background here. And when all of the files are submitted and uploaded, it automatically populates them in there. It organizes them into the appropriate subfolders and creates links that are shared with both you and the client. Then it creates a new Slack channel with the client's name and sends an email to the client with access instructions on how they can access the Google folder and upload more documents if needed. And it also creates a notification in our team Slack channel where we can see that a new client has been onboarded. And the beauty of Make is that you can add as much complexity as you need or as little needed for getting the job done. So for example, I've added error handling so that if at any step of the process something fails, I get notified so we can jump in and actually execute manually what the system needed to do. That's super important as it's automation, but sometimes it breaks. So let me walk you through all of these modules one by one and show you how you can set it up too. Now, step number 4 is the Google Drive integration. So let's start with the Google Drive integration. Next, we need to handle the onboarding form submissions and the files that the client has uploaded, as these are going to be super relevant to what we're doing, especially if we're going to be doing some content. Now, as far as the Google Drive integration goes, you have to create a main folder and you can use the name of the client's company as well as the client's name. And then you can generate subfolders where you organize the structure depending on the different types of assets. And you can set up an automation that every single time you upload an asset or they upload an asset, you both get notified so nothing gets lost in the tracks. Now, another important part is to process the form submissions and allow for your clients to update that information later down the line, as sometimes when they're filling out the onboarding form, they might not have all the needed details, especially if your form is a little bit on the longer side and you request things that they might not have immediate access to and they have to ask somebody internally. So what we do is once they submit the initial form, we send them a copy with the opportunity to change some of the details and update it later down the line. And we receive copy as well. And with that copy, we download all the client files, retrieve all the uploaded materials that are on the Google Drive, and we still give them access so they can upload more assets, more things that they get access to later on and still keep the onboarding process smooth. Now, when it comes to the communication, this is probably one of the most crucial parts. We like to organize everything within Slack because it's very visual, very easy, and it's a pleasant experience both for us and for our clients. And the way we do it is we set up a client private channel using their name. We add the relevant team members that are going to be associated with fulfilling the service. And then we create a post welcome message to explain what the channel is going to be all about, sending them all of the relevant links. And again, giving them access to the resources, logins, everything they're going to need as part of the program, service, or product you provide. And you pin the most important resources on top, as that way they're always going to stay visual to your clients and you're going to avoid a lot of back and forth, especially the long email communication chains of sending links and trying to piece together stuff. Just Slack is a way easier way to organize things. And the final step, of course, is to notify your client that you've created all of that, because no matter how good your onboarding is, if they're not using the systems and folders and everything you've set up for them, it's going to be impossible for you to produce the outcome they've signed up for. So you can set up simple videos walking through the steps, especially for the non-technical clients. And again, make sure that they get notified on all possible channels. We all consume information differently, so you can send them an email, you can send them a WhatsApp message, text them on as many channels as possible, so you make sure they have access to the most important information and know what to do with it. You can confirm once the onboarding is complete and give them access to everything, and this way you can get started immediately with producing the results. So what kind of results you could expect from implementing a system like that? Is it really worth it? To be honest, I've been quite reluctant to put the energy and time needed to set up a system like that for myself, but after onboarding over 2,000 clients in my previous business and seeing that this is one of the biggest bottlenecks for every growing operation, and especially now deciding that I want to build a smaller, more nimble team and leverage AI agents to scale this business, I knew that I needed to have some sort of automation and streamline some of the parts of the business. And I was super surprised when I saw that my time to onboard clients was actually cut by 95%. I was spending 3 to 5 hours on average. And with this new process, it was literally 10 minutes after a client has paid. Everything's automatically done for them. We can start getting the work done. And instead of collecting information for 3 to 4 days, we already have some of the deliverables for our clients done within that same time frame. And not only that, we get the 100% consistency of labeling everything the right way, meaning the client folders, the client channels, so everything is streamlined and automatized as much as possible without needing our involvement. So I highly recommend you installing a similar system for your business. I know it might be a little bit different in your use case, but if you want us to do that for you, make sure you click the link in the description, book a call, and if we can help, we would. And perhaps the most important part of the system is that it scales. So whether we're onboarding 1 client, 10 clients, or 50 clients a month, they all get the same consistent experience and everything remains smooth. The system costs a few cents to run once it's implemented, so it costs you nothing besides the initial setup time or the fee you're going to pay for somebody to come in and install it for you. So what are some of the potential challenges and solutions? Now, as with everything, I want to be transparent about some of the challenges you might face when implementing a system like that. First, the initial setup takes time. It took me about 3 to 4 days to build and test the system, given that I'm already somebody who understands automation. I've played with systems like that, but it's important to remember that this is a one-time investment that pays dividends with each and every new client. And even though it seems cumbersome and tedious in the beginning, you love it later down the line. So second, you need to test it roughly before going live, especially because it's going to be client facing. So I recommend going through the entire process yourself several times to catch any issues, any emails not going out, things going to spam. Make sure that you have some of your past clients also tested. And also remember that some of your clients still might need some guidance with technology depending on the industry you serve. So make sure you add a couple of simple video tutorials to send to clients who are not tech savvy. And fourth, as your business evolves, you probably need to update your onboarding form and process. Everything is evolution depending on the services, products, whatever you're providing. I suggest you review and refine your form quarterly to ensure that you're collecting the right information each and every time. The key is to start with the core functionality and then refinements over time. And even a basic version of this system will save you hours and improve your client experience. If you found this valuable, I'd love if you could hit the like button and subscribe, as it really helps the channel, and we'll be pumping out a lot more automation strategies just like this one. And if you want to take this even further, I've created a video on how you can create an entire AI sales infrastructure for your business. Just click the link here on the screen to watch the next video.